that bubble, is to expand that feeling of what we consider the world is. When we study whether it is science or language or spirituality, the attempt of those subjects is to enlarge the capacity of our minds to understand that the world is bigger, that the universe is bigger, that there are problems or solutions way beyond our everyday experience. It is a rare occasion to really sit down and think of something beyond our immediate necessity. Yesterday we had that opportunity to discuss about the glorious greatness of Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, which for each of us individually it is a very small part of our life. But collectively, when you look at it, as the state of world exists, yesterday we discussed how population explosion, technological change and world communications, everything came along with Sri Shirdi Sai Baba's Avatara. When Baba came, he came with that universal message which touched each and every person, whichever country they belong to. My master, Sri Kirala Bharadwaja, has written a book about it, but before writing the book, he used to share about Baba with everybody he used to meet. And there is a famous Zen master, a person of Zen meditation called Paul Reps in California, America. For me, the letter written by Paul Reps to Master really emphasizes the gem that is. Imagine a beautiful large jewel made of gold. There is a large necklace, very large necklace made of gold. And imagine a small mosquito. How does the mosquito see the gold, the beauty of the necklace? I am like that mosquito. And the great jewel is my master. The only way I was able to see the magnanimity of him was through words of Mr. Paul Reps. Paul Reps was a very gentle person, very excellent personality. He had a very good habit of thanking everybody for existing. Right? Paul Reps has this habit. You go to Paul Reps, he would say, thank you for existing. Because you are part of this beautiful universe. And your existence is part of this entire cosmic drama. Now, he came across Master's book, Sai Baba the Master, we don't know how. It seems that Paul Reps read Sai Baba the Master written by my Guru, Sri Acharya Ekilal Bharadwaja, and he started writing a series of letters. A couple of them were printed, published, but the rest of them I had the privilege of reading. In one of the letters, he asked Master to send a photograph of Master. Mr. Bharadwaja, Mr. Sri Bharadwaja, can you please send me your photograph? So Master sent him a photograph of himself. In the next letter, Paul Reps writes, I have seen your photo before. In the recent photo, you are looking a bit thin than the previous one. Does the world need you to be thin to be saved? Because even if you become a little bit thin, its result on the world is immense. It's only for saving the world. He thought, even if Master slimmed down a little bit, it would benefit the world. Everything Master uttered, he wrote in a letter. Please, I am at a great misfortune for not being in your immediate vicinity, because your snoring in the sleep itself is the greatest of a teaching for those who can listen, he said. I was a young guy and I did not know Master was that great then. I was just starting to read the books of Master. And me and Srinivas, Gutti Srinivas there, we were going through Master's manuscripts one day, and we were setting up the cupboard, and we came across Paul Reps' letters, and I read that, and only then it struck me as to how Master was visible to the world. I was in my own little bubble. He was my father. He was a great personality, but I was a little mosquito. I could not see the beauty of the jewel. Today, please give me the opportunity. I pray to Baba and to Baba in you to portray a little bit about my master, because in everything we need a model. And master was the model disciple of Sri Shirdi Sai Baba. We have all flavors of devotion in the world. Some people like Shirdi Sai Baba or any other form of the divine in their heart. Some people like to chant. Some people like to worship. Some people like to do seva. Some people like to do anushthanam. But when it comes to the ultimate devotee, when it comes to the ultimate disciple, we are all, we think, disciples of Baba, which we are. But Baba occupies a small space in our minds and hearts. He is there definitely. We respect him and we love him. But when we look at a wall, or when we look at a dog, or when we look at a person, or when we look at economics, or physics, or chemistry, they seem to be separate from the divine for us. But for the perfect devotee, it is said in Guru Gita that everything that the perfect devotee gazes upon is the beautiful form of the master. That is the hallmark of a disciple. That is the very definition of the best disciple. That is what we are hoping to become. And in trying to become that towards Shirdi Sai Baba, my master provides a perfect template. He was a glorious father, extremely intelligent, and many times you see spiritual people, they are of three types in the world. People who think they are very meek, and so God is great. So they are like, I am sorry, I am a papi, papoham papakarmaham. That is one type of the people you see around temples. There is a second type of a devotee who says, I am a devotee, you are not. My guru is great, you are not. This is the Rajas devotee. Then there is a third type of a devotee who is like, I have my own world, I have my own life, the rest of the world is there, it's there, and Baba, please save me. This is the third type of a devotee who is kind of a personal reflection of God. But with master, the first thing you would notice when you enter, when you reach the premises of my house, is pealing laughter. Speaking with master was a pleasure to everybody. He would not say, you are a papi, shut up, do meditation. No. He would not say, hey, we are great, we should do this, others are ignorant. No. He was very simple, very down to the earth, and everybody felt good to be in his presence. And it was, spirituality was joy. Spirituality was not penance, like I am a papi, I have to do this and I have to. Spirituality was not saying sorry to God for master. Spirituality was not saying thank you to God. That was not also for master. For my master, spirituality was the essence of living. A child comes to him, he looks at the child. We had this maid in our house who used to clean. The maid had a little child, and the maid was having trouble trying to keep the child calm. So master, he would go pick up the child as if it was me, and it was equally loving. And the child, he would make the child laugh. And in that process, in that very process of talking to the child, he would plant spirituality. I distinctly remember one day, he used to wake me up every morning to do morning harati to Baba. The way it would start for us is at 5 o'clock, 4:30, master would wake us up very gently, not like, hey, you lazy fellow, get up. No. He would say, Dwaraka, Dwaraka. And we used to get woken up. And once we woke up, the first rule was not even to get off the bed, but to stand up and recite Vishnu Sahasranama. We used to say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva, Maheshwara, and a ton of slokas, and then go after Vishnu Sahasranama, a few verses, and then master would say, now you got 1 hour before Arati. You have two choices. You can be sleepy and waste all that 1 hour, or you can go play. I would say, don't brush and then take bath. That is a waste of time for you. Go start the tap. Sit underneath the tap. With one hand, put soap. With another hand, brush. Then you will have more time to play. And we used to finish off and then go off to play. And after playing, all the kids, we used to come and sit in the arati in the morning. Most of the kids would come for biscuits. But at the end of it, one day I asked him, I said, Nanagaru, we are doing this arati every day. I heard that if you pray to God, you can see God. I have been doing it for so long. Why am I not able to see Baba? Why are none of my friends able to see Baba? And the answer still rings in my ears, and it's still a warning for me. He said, do you know, Baba is like a lamp that is alight. It has light. It's a glowing lamp. You are like a lamp that is still to be lit. What you are doing every day in Aarti is touching this to Baba and taking it off. And touching and taking it off. The secret is to keep it touched till it also lights up. And he made a kind of a challenge to my friends. He said, you remember Baba without stopping. If when you are playing, you remember him somehow. When you are eating, you remember him somehow. Always keep in touch with the idea of Baba. And Baba will appear. And that was, imagine a bunch of kids, rickshaw kids. Most of my friends, we used to live in slums. Like my house was surrounded by little huts. All my friends were rickshawalas, and I used to go along with cattle in summer along with those kids themselves. I used to go grazing cattle in the fields. I used to go along with rickshaws, to sell mugu. What is it called? Kolam. And there was nothing like you are special kid, they are all that, nothing like that. He would love us all equally. And that answer stuck with me and most of my friends. We also had one discussion one day. That is, I said, Lord Rama and Arjuna, these were great warriors. And one of my friends, a rickshawala boy, his name was Dhananjay, he said, no, Balakrishna is also very strong, a cinema actor. I said, no, Rama is more powerful. That guy said, no, this hero jumped off a bridge. So we both were like arguing. We were very little kids, 5-year-old. We were saying, who is more strong, this cinema actor or God? I did not watch any movies. I did not see any movies, and I used to get scared of the big people on the screen. So I did not like it. And we had this terrible argument. And we went to Master. I said, Master, who is better fighter? Is it Rama and Krishna, or is it this cinema actor? Master said, see, the problem is this. Somebody comes to beat you up. Your cinema actor is not going to come and save you. And if you are like this, Rama also will not come and save you. You are going to get beaten. The thing is, you have wasted a lot of time debating who is stronger, and you are still weak. That is one thing that Hanuman did not do. He became strong. He did not say, Rama is great, I can be like this. If somebody comes and beats me, Rama will beat them. No. Hanuman was so strong that he could carry Rama all around. That you are missing, so you are going to get beaten. Master's response used to be like that. And even with satsang members, it was laughter. The way Master used to explain various stories of spirituality, he would laugh and he would make people laugh. Spirituality was a celebration of life. For him, everybody that came there was looking at Baba in his view. Now think of this. What is physics? Physics is one explanation of the world. What is chemistry? Chemistry is just another way of explaining the world. The world already exists. Before we invent physics or chemistry, the world is there. These sciences are ways in which we describe the world. Like that for us, each of our life, every experience is our description of the world. But the world, according to Baba, is him. Wherever you see, I am there, Baba said. So you go home, you switch on the TV and watch a movie. From Master's point of view, you are looking at Baba. And so when you come, there is no difference between the people that come. For him, everybody is with Baba. And now Master was there trying to expand. He would expand that bubble of personality through his teachings. The special thing about my Master, why Paul Rips felt so good, was that he left an indelible mark on everybody that came to him. It is very easy to confuse when we hear Sri Bharadwaja Master is a devotee of Sai Baba, we would think, he would keep on saying, Baba acha karega, Baba is there. No. Master was ferocious sometimes. He was, especially when atheists or somebody questioned Baba or spirituality, Master would rip them to shreds. Like, he was a lion, he was a tiger. Do you know the story about Jesus Christ? You must have heard of Jesus Christ a little bit. He was a very soft guy. Jesus Christ became very famous not because he was soft. Once upon a time, in the name of spirituality, people were selling little talismans, tayattu, and all kinds of stuff in a temple. And Jesus Christ, we think he is loving and all that, he went, picked up a whip and beat everybody out of the temple, everybody who was doing like that. Right? We know Rama was a ferocious fighter. We know Krishna was a ferocious fighter. He can fight any Rakshasa even when he was a little kid. But these days the impression of devotee is one of weakness. We all have this idea that I don't know anything, Baba knows everything. Master never agreed to that. He never accepted that attitude. He said, you are part of this world and Baba has given you this intellect. And Master's writing, what they do is they expand this consciousness. And his actions were like that. You know, the most difficult thing to do is to offer everything to Baba before you eat. It's not very easy to not mentally eat something. Even today, when I am eating, what I do is something is served. Before I think of its taste, I quickly put one morsel aside and say, Baba, thank you. But that's easy, right? Before thinking, what Master used to do is, he would mix the curry. For me, looking at it, it would look very tasty. He would gently mix it very nicely, put ghee in it and everything, and then pray to Baba. That's not easy thing to do. That is not at all an easy thing to do. Because by the time you would eat it in your mind and you should not serve such thing to Lord, but Master could do that. I was a little child and when Master used to close his eyes, sometimes I used to eat it. Before he opened his eyes, Master would not get angry. He would say, oh, Baba has eaten it. Now after a few days, as a child, what do you think my impression would be? My impression of Baba was not something distant. My impression of Baba was not something very different from my world. Everybody came to my house talking about Baba. And Master was living as if Baba was there. So one day during some satsang that Master was going for the temple, I asked him, Nanagaru, I want to meditate. How to meditate? Oh, he said, come, I'll tell you. And he took me to the Baba room and he said, sit here, close your eyes. And he said, think of Baba, this and that. I said, will Baba be here if I meditate? He said, oh yeah, he will be here. And he went off. And because I was alone, I was a little kid, they closed the doors. And I distinctly remember this because I put a banana in front of Baba, closed my eyes, and after some time of the so-called childish meditation, I opened my eyes and the banana was half eaten. And the thing is, my cousin, Baba bit his finger. Because my cousin used to feed Baba like that every day to the photo. And one day Baba bit my cousin and my cousin was like, Baba, you're a bad guy, you bit me. But that was the kind of reality around Master. Baba was not a story. Baba was not a concept. Baba was not, Shirdi Sai Baba was not something that we are supposed to think of in a different way. He was everyday reality. That was his surroundings. But Master was aware that not every house was like that. If there are other people who had problems, there are other people who could not understand Baba yet. So Master started writing these books, and as you can see, I don't know how many books you have read, but Master, what he touched upon is every aspect of life through his book. And Master finally, he was also writing a book about physical exercise so that we become very, very strong physically. For Master, living an excellent life, a very healthy life with a beautiful mind and with a strong body, with a sense of responsibility, was an essential part of spirituality. For Master, spirituality was not something distant. It's not something you do in caves. It is something of a very reality. And that was, yesterday we spoke about how that is the essential teaching of Baba. Now, as a perfect disciple to Baba, if we want to model ourselves, what we start doing, we start feeling is that we should stop everything else to look at Baba. Right? That's the general tendency in the normal population. But with Master, it was the reverse. Wherever you look, there is Baba, was Master's teaching. The only thing is, you have to understand how to set this right and the physicality right, and immediately and promptly Baba would respond to you. That was Master's attitude, it seems, that he wants us to have. If you look at Master's books, you will not say, oh, don't earn money. No. That's something we commonly hear in spirituality and other lines. Money is bad. No, that's not what Master said. Master used to tell us that India is one of the few countries where making money was a method to reach spirituality, to reach moksha. The issue is not about making money. It's about how you make it and how fast you spend it, how beautifully you spend it. It's a purushartha. And as a purushartha, you earn as much as you can with dharma, without missing the correctness. And then you spend it with dharma. And that is the way you are supposed to do. You are supposed to be mentally, physically, and in every way the most poignant person you can be. This is another aspect of Master that really inspires me to this day. He told me, you read very, very well, you study books very well. You have to know everything. Just study a lot. And that is also something quite contrary in the world. Out there in the world, people say, you do your job, in the evening you bow to Baba. And that is fine. There are other people who say, don't even bother about Baba, you are young, get your career, when you are old you can do spirituality. There is the other side also. There is Baba, why are you worrying about your career or your job? There is that side also. The point here is, when you act correctly and when you behave correctly and you think of your life in a correct manner, there is no difference between your occupation and spirituality. And that Master exemplified. He worked as a lecturer. Master worked as a lecturer, which is stunning. I'll tell you why it is stunning. Master, as we know him and as others know him, has the command over nature like nobody. There was one devotee was coming to satsang and he stepped on a dog and the little puppy died. And that devotee was crying, saying, "Sir, I did not see, I was coming to satsang and the dog died." Master said, "Hey, don't worry, bring that puppy here." And he got that little puppy. It was dead, no doubt. He kept it on his thigh and he went on with the satsang doing this. Within 5 minutes, the dog got up and walked off. And we have seen, when I was a little child, I thought that was what every dad did. You have to understand me, that was my father. I thought every father was like that. But he would know what we did in school. Without anybody saying, "Hey, why did you fight with Praveen?" He would ask. When I come home. I thought every father would know. And I had some experiences like that. Many other people had many experiences like that. And yet you see this young person, this charming young guy who was very smart. One of the most handsomest faces I have seen was Master in his youth. With he walking as a lecturer to a college is something as unimaginable as Baba going to firehouses. Baba could command stop and rain would stop. Baba can say, "Hey, get out of there," and a mountain would move if he wanted. But Baba would go from house to house. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that great personality just going from house to house? Similarly, this amazing personality of Bharadwaj Master, it still amazes me that he worked as a lecturer. For him, it was no different from spirituality. For him, this is the premise I want to set, because this is the mystery of spirituality. What is spirituality? Some people define it as knowing the divine, as going from this normal worldly life to something different. Master asked, "Is there anything else other than the divine?" Anywhere in Bhagavad Gita or in the Upanishads or anywhere else, is there anything else other than the divine? No. The answer is no. There is only your perspective, which is called loka. Loka means lochana means eye. Loka means the way you see it. You have your own loka, but the world is there and it is essentially divine. The world is essentially divine. But nowadays, we look at the world, we see all kind of issues. We see people who are not perfect. We see corruption. We see pollution. We see all these issues, and it is very, very difficult for us to see the divine around. Isn't it? It is very difficult to admit that all you see is actually a reflection of the divine. Because there arises a confusion. If you think this is divine, you are not supposed to do anything to correct it. No, it is divine, God is doing it, whatever reason He knows, right? Karma is there. You hear all these theories, even Master did not accept that. At the same time, Master also did not accept that spirituality is separate from this. In his book Atheism, he starts off, my favorite book. I have given a couple of lectures on that very same book in the last few days in the schools and in the plant. In my humble opinion, I think it is the best book ever written after Bhagavad Gita. Such a book has never been written in my opinion. The only other book that I think is that concise and that expansive is Bhagavad Gita. That is the last thing we got, and this is the other thing we got. There are other great books, but not in that same type, right? There are great trees, but there is only one sandalwood. There are neem tree is also great, but sandalwood is sandalwood, isn't it? Atheism is atheism, and in that he starts off the book with a beautiful comment. He says, in order for the society and the individual to have the best lifestyle possible, each and everyone has to seek out the truth. That was his statement, Master's statement. If you look at that, there is no word called devotion. There is no word called prayer. There is no word called Baba. He said, for the society and the individual to have a perfect lifestyle, each and every one should seek the truth. Do you think when you read that line, it is a sentence by a devotee? It is a sentence that looks like it is a sentence by a social reformer. Is it not? It is not a devotional statement. It's not like Baba is taking care of everything, just sit and relax. No, that was not how he starts it. He started it this way. And in that one sentence, Master shows what a disciple is, in my humble opinion. Because for him, prayer is not an escape from life. Spirituality is not an escape. I am unable to deal with life, so I am seeking something else. No. Humankind, we people, why do we do jobs? Why do we do business? Why do we do education? Because we think life is bad without them. Right? If I don't do business, I don't get enough money, so life. If I don't do job, life is not going to be good. And the same logic we tend to extend. If I don't pray, life is going to be bad. So what we unconsciously do is kind of make spirituality a solution to our little problems in our bubble. Please, do you understand what I'm saying? Spirituality is bigger than our little troubles. It's a way of stepping over them. But we, unconsciously, what we do is, just like everything else, spirituality is also an answer, a solution for the little problems that we see. Therefore, Master started the point in the other way. The first thing, the only thing, the most important thing you need to do is to seek what is true, seek the truth. Prayer is a form of seeking truth. Meditation is a form of seeking truth. Working well is a form of seeking the truth. And the truth, however we want to argue, the truth is that we all do things for our own happiness. Why do we do something? Because now or in the future, it kind of makes us happy, it makes us contented. That's why we do things, because it makes us feel good. And when you really understand that inner happiness there is a reflection of divine, that's when you understand the greatest statement of spirituality. You know, the greatest statement of spirituality, it is the only statement that is common between Hinduism, Islam, Buddhism and Christianity. They all say this. This one statement is constant. Everyone is a born devotee, they say. We, in the evening arati, we sing. We say, Swabhakte chaya manusham darsayantam namamishwaram sadgurum sayanatham. We sing that in the evening harati. And in that sequence, Sri Upasani Baba keeps on saying that everybody is serving you. Do you think everybody is serving Baba? Yes, because his Baba is that principle that gives you that happiness that you seek. There are three aspects to God. One is Satyam. Second is Sivam, purity. The third is Sundaram. Yeah? The other definition of God is Sat Chit Ananda. You all know this, every Indian knows this, right? I eat an ice cream, that little bit of joy that I get, that little bit of happiness, whatever is giving inside, that is what is making me eat the ice cream. And that happiness is a small glimpse of the real happiness that Baba is. Master understood that. Master wanted us to understand that. So for Master, you're playing a game like you're playing cricket, do it exceptionally well, and it is going to be a build-up for you, and it's going to expand your idea of life and get you closer to the completeness of what Baba is. Therefore, Master's closest friend was an atheist. A lot of people don't know this. One of Master's closest friends was an atheist. He did not believe God exists for a long time. His name is Dr. Venkatakrishna. Of course, now he has found a guru and he has found spirituality. But Master did not see him as somebody very low and only, somebody who says, Master says, that inner voice that says that there is no God is God. He understands that in every child, what is making you breathe? While I was talking, you were listening. That very life force is supposed to be the divine, is Baba. And therefore, for Master, the simple fact that you are still breathing means you are under Baba's protection. And anybody in Baba's protection, Master is in love with them. If my Guru likes you, I would automatically like you if I am a devotee of my Guru, if I am a disciple of my Guru. And you can see that in Master. People would be anti-Master. There were issues where people were trying to trouble Master. The thing is, Master would not be troubled by them and Master would not get angry with them. You know how it feels when you get angry with the other person but the other person does not get angry? It's a very difficult thing to take, and Master would not budge. These things, what they show us is that spirituality is not about closing our eyes to where we are and how we live, but rather it is seeking that which is Baba in everything that we do. Now the question is, yesterday also someone asked, Sir, all the theory is fine, what should we do? When you look at Sai Amrutam or Baba's Satcharitra, the things Baba taught are very, very seemingly simple things. Somebody comes, give him some food, give clothes to those who did not have. If you accept something, do it completely. There's not like put 3 fingers together like this, another 4 fingers together like this, sit straight and then chant this exactly. No, Baba did not go there. Baba did not even bother with it. Right? Occasionally for special devotees, he would appear in a dream and teach yoga. For another devotee, he would appear in a dream and teach about Jesus Christ. But for everybody, in a common way, Baba would teach the everyday principles which are going to build up that sense of divine in all of us, that expansion of this bubble. So Master wrote this book called Atheism, in which he took the concept of an atom, electron and proton, and the universe and the planet, and he points out to you that, see boss, your world is not the world. You think your little world is the entire world? No. The world is much bigger, and once you realize that, your problems are very small. Your problems are very small, and you are bigger than your problems. In the case of Shirdi Sai Baba, one day, one woman was doing puja to Baba. Suddenly Baba says, go home. Your baby is crying. That woman goes, satisfies the baby and comes back and worships Baba. Now you tell me, who is more sacred, the baby or the Baba? The baby, if it feels satisfied inside, that very satisfaction of the inner being itself is Baba. That is what Baba was teaching through the story of a dog, through the story of a cow, the cat, the person, the beggar and the baby. And in Master, you see this complete acceptance and understanding that in every being there is Baba, and that inner sense of truth that everyone has is Baba. Master would deal with people like that. I think that is what Paul Reps understood. Master, he writes, Sri Bharadwaja, is it important for the world to be saved that you become a little bit thin? He writes. And even in your sleep, if you snore, I am unfortunate, I can't come there because there is the greatest of the teachings even in your snoring. Master was so good. Master was so good that other Mahatmas would come and bow to Master. which was a surprising thing. Majestic spiritual personalities would appreciate Master and would put Master on a pedestal and say, "You are, come on." And I was his son. I did not know he was so great till I started reading his books. Do you understand the background from which I am talking? Do you understand my view of my little world and what Master was? How many of you have had the pleasure of going through the life history of Master? Do you know how about Master? No? Master was born to a great Vedic scholar called Sri Anantacharya. Since childhood, the household that Master was in was full of teachings. Sri Anantacharya was a great Vedic scholar and his house was always full of these Vedic discussions. But Master was a very curious child. My grandfather, Sri Anantacharya, never said blindly believe. He would discuss, he would encourage his children to discuss, and Master developed this great questioning ability. He had this intense honesty about him that he would really try to find out the truth, and until then he would not accept anything. When he was about the age of 8, his father said, "Let me do Upanayanam to you." Bharadwaja said, my master said, no, why should anybody get Upanayanam? And because he was very clever, it was very difficult to argue with my father. So Anantacharya said, "All right, let him grow up. Afterwards we can decide whether he can decide whether to do it or not." And they left him. Then some years passed. Finally, Master, the way he approached it is, he would approach everybody who had Upanayanam done. He would ask them, what happened to you? Did you change? Did you become brilliant? Did your intelligence grow? Did you become strong? Did you become good? Now, don't you get any bad thought? Like that he used to ask everybody. And everybody would say, "No, it's not like that. I just got Upanayanam done. I am still doing Anushthanam, whatnot." Finally, Master got fed up. He felt it is better to get it done and do it exactly as it is said and see what result it gives. So Master said, "Okay, I am going to get Upanayanam done." So his father arranged this Upanayanam. Now his father was, Anantacharya was so famous that people from Kasi would come for muhurtams. He was considered a living national treasure because of his understanding of Vedas. For most people it would take 12 years to learn Vedas. For Anantacharya, he finished it in 40 days. All the Vedas. For him, his teacher would be telling one suktam, he would innately get the following suktams out of his mouth non-stop. So he was called Vedas in human form. Now that was the stature of his father. That kind of a father sets a date and a time for Upanayanam. And Upanayanam was happening. And Master had an eldest brother who was there was a great age gap between Ikirala Krishnamacharya and Ikirala Bharadwaja. The eldest brother was Ikirala Krishnamacharya. He had a son called Bhaskaracharya. Master loved that little boy. Right at the moment of Brahmopadesha, that kid passed away. That little Bhaskaracharya simply passed away. And Master had this intense inner questioning. It was my father who said this time. And yet, there is a death. What is this problem of death? For most of us, we would be satisfied by forgetting a sad event. Whenever something sad happens, we try to forget it. But with Master, Kaschid Dhiraha, says Bhagavad Gita, there is a rare intellectual giant who faces life head on and finds its answers, and that statement completely fulfills in Master. He looked at the death of the child, looked at the suffering of his brothers and his sister-in-law. He says, "What is death? Is there a way to overcome death?" Maybe there is, and maybe nobody has found. I am going to find it. That is the essential spirit of a Veera and a Dhira, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. And Master tackled the problem head on. He observed life in every form. He was not yet a Baba devotee. He would intensely observe how life is working in a tree, in a plant, in the world, in himself. He would observe, think. He would not even discuss. He would intensely observe. He became very quiet because his focus was entirely in observation, and you can see in his photographs that he was seriously internal. If you look at the photograph of Master from that, we call it the phase of Satyanveshana, and you look at that photo, he is in contemplation, he is sitting like that, and you can see that young mind is trying to solve the biggest mystery of the universe then and there. When you look at Master, you would think, oh, probably that is how Buddha saw the world. He saw old age, death. He did not say, yeah, it happens to everybody, let me enjoy. Buddha said, no, I have to find a solution for this. Everybody is suffering. Maybe this is how he looked. Because Master spent 6 years, and Master was immensely intelligent. He was a very smart kid. He was so smart that he heard the entire Mahabharata only once, and he told all 1 lakh slokas immediately on the spot in reverse. He was a brilliant mind, and this brilliant mind is tackling this immense problem for 6 years. He was doing that. At the end of 6 years, he says he found the answer. He found the answer that life is the fundamental principle of the universe. But he had a question. He said, all of this is alive. Most of us would be satisfied with that answer. Okay, everything is alive, prana shakti, great. Right, let's do Upanayana. No. So what was Master's question? He did not finish his inquiry. He said, okay, so what? The world is going on in a way based on certain grand principle, a divine principle. So what? Why should I pray? Why should anybody pray? If the divine principle thinks that my life should happen this way, it would happen. If it is me who has to repair it, there is no need of the divine. So, the only rule of life is to do the best one can with the intellect and the body. That was Master's first conclusion as a young man. And in that stage, one day his brother said, I am going to Shirdi. Why don't you come? Master said, I am not visiting any Babas Givas. I am not doing that. Because if Baba is so great, he should be able to bless me here itself. If he does not want to bless me, he won't bless me if I come there. If he wants to bless me, he will bless me here itself. Besides, what would he bless me? He would say, be a good person. I am trying to be that. So I am not going to come. His brother said, no, don't argue with me. I can't argue with you. You are too intelligent. What you do is, I am going to Maharashtra and I don't know the language. And I will feel bored in a few days. So if you also come, there is somebody who knows Telugu, we can chat. So why don't you come? So Master went there. And the first time he saw Baba, nothing happened. He went home, slept. The next morning he said, there is that statue is very beautiful. Let me go and see what that statue is. How is that statue so beautiful? So Master walked into the Samadhi Mandir. The thing is, when we look at a statue, we try to compare it with somebody we already know. But Master had this special thing. What was Baba thinking was the question of Master. Master was surprised by so many people's devotion to Baba. He said, somebody is dead, and these guys are praying. What's happening here? What was Baba? Let me look at that statue and try to see try to estimate the psychological level of Baba. That was Master's attempt. And he went and looked at Baba, and Master says he did not know what happened. He had the highest level of spiritual experience, which is called Brahmanabhuti in our scriptures, where he felt as an experience that Baba is the universal consciousness. Baba was one with him, and Master and the entire world was just a part of the sankalpa of that entire creation. And in that moment, Bharadwaja was not separate from Baba. The world was not separate from Baba. And that experience lasted not 2 seconds, not 10 minutes, it happened for 5.5 hours. And let me put this in perspective. If you read Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and if you read any yoga book, if you attain that kind of a Brahmanubhuti state for 1 hour, most human bodies can't tackle it. You have to leave the body. It is written in scriptures that you will leave the body. It is only a very rare gem of an individual who can handle that kind of a spiritual experience for so long and still come out of it. Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni was the last one to do it. To come out of that experience like that, a similar experience like that, Ramana Bhagavan was like that. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was like that. There are these few stalwarts, these pillars of spirituality who could survive, and Master was one of them. And the moment Master came out of that experience, he really did not completely come out of that experience. The experience continued with him. And in that experience itself, Master found the intense peace that is the characteristic of spiritual experience. And after that, Master was thinking, okay, I got that experience from Baba. How can I get a similar experience again? Most of us, imagine this. If I see Baba now, I would be telling that story again and again. For every day, oh, I saw Baba, did you see Baba? No, I saw Baba, I am great. Master was not like that. He was like, okay, that experience was awesome. How can that experience, other people, how can they get? And how can I get it again? And he, after doing a bit of study and practice and other things, he said, you need a perfect guru to be able to get that. So Master started searching for a guru. And then Baba appears in his dream, says, why are you searching for a guru? I am here now. I am your guru. And at that moment, Master was accepted as a disciple of Baba. And Master was completely a disciple of Baba at that instant, according to Master. After that, everything in life Master did was in accordance with Baba's teachings. Everything he did was in perfect alignment with the teachings of Baba. And that is a brief nutshell of what happened to Master. For me, the real glory of Master starts the other side. And remember, I am not here to tell you about Bharadwaja Master. I am here to tell you, try to communicate to you what a very good disciple of Baba is. Because we are here because of this awesome personality, this Supreme Master right there behind me. And we are here trying to understand how to serve him best. And for that, Master was a classic example. And just to complete that discussion, everything Master did, the way he spoke to people, the way he dealt with children, the way he wrote books, the way he did his job, the way he left his job, the way he brought us up, all of them are in perfect alignment, like as if you can fit Baba's Sukti and Master's action like that. And the beauty of it is, you can take a sentence from Bhagavad Gita, you can take a statement from Upanishads, and it would fit Master. It would feel as if it was written for Master, looking at Master. Now, this is something I feel. You guys do not know, many of you do not know about Master, so you might, this guy is just boasting about his guru. Every Tom, Dick and Harry does that. Yeah, which is fine for me. The point I'm trying to make is try to find out what this famous devotee of Baba did. He was an acting president of All India Sai Samaj for some years, and many people consider him the son of Baba. Sai ke muddu pitted. He was, right? Many saints called him that. Hare, wherever you are, there is Baba, man. Sri Purnananda, he was an excellent yogi. There was one person called Purnananda in Sri Salem. Purnananda himself is a very special personality. When he was 8, he wanted to find his guru. So he walked out of his home at age 8. He did not eat. He was searching here and there for his guru in a forest. Like some 50 years ago. This is not like in ancient times, no, 50 years ago. And his guru appears with a plate full of food. With a plate full of food for Mr. Purnananda. Right, and he says, you are So Purnananda's guru appears like that to him and asks him to do this sadhana and that sadhana, and Purnananda himself becomes a very good, very great yogi. And he has an ashram. Now Purnananda Swami, he says, Bharadwaja, wherever you look, wherever you bow, that's where Baba's feet are. Purnananda was also a Baba devotee. He says, Bharadwaja, Baba, where are Baba's feet? Wherever you put your hands, there Baba's feet are. He says, do you even need to talk to me? Whatever thought comes in you, because your every breath is Baba, is going to get fulfilled. So other yogis were telling that Master was a perfect disciple. It's not me that is telling. What I am trying to convey to you here is, from a Baba disciple's perspective, take your time in this temple and try to read the life history of Master. I don't need any of you to become Master's disciples. Right? If you become a disciple of that gate, for me, that is my Master. And for my Master, that is Baba. I have no issue that we all are, no, it's not like a political party where we all are ding, 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 this is the same name. No, I don't care. You can be a devotee of Hanuman, for all I care, because the divine principle is the same. Me and you worshipping, Baba told us that it's He who answers. Right? But what I want to communicate today is this beautiful life of Master, which was not separate from everyday life. The spirituality was not separate from everyday life, and Baba was in every moment of his life. So, just as a reference, go through the life history of Master, if possible, all of you. Like you can sit outside in the evening. Unfortunately, there is no book on Master in English. Hopefully, by His grace, it might come anytime soon. It is there in Telugu, and some of you can read Telugu. So get together and see what other good devotees of Baba have done to please Baba. Because Baba definitely was satisfied with Master. It was so that if I ask, Nanagara, I want to eat a mango, he would say, go ask Baba. I would simply go, little child, go to the Baba photo and say, Baba, Baba, today I want mango. And within 15 minutes, some devotee will bring a mango without anybody telling. I thought it was like that in every house. Forgive me, but I thought that is how everybody got everything. For a long time, till I grown up, I understood that other people don't get it. Right? Master's presence was amazing. His behavior was amazing. His books are, what they tell you, what they teach us is to be good devotees of Baba. Sitting in the Baba temple, a best teacher is very satisfied when you praise his best student. A best student is very satisfied when you praise his teacher. My goal here is not to impress you. Some of you might think my speech is good, bad. I am not going to see you, you are not going to see me. It's alright, we are going to die in 50 years, nobody remembers. But him, I know he is happy because I am praising Master, and I know Master is happy because I spoke about Baba yesterday. I am getting double bonus here. The two greatest spiritual forces of the world will be pleased by my talk, and I thank you for the opportunity for listening to me and giving me the opportunity to talk about my master. I have a serious trouble writing about master or talking about master. In fact, I have so much to tell, but it doesn't come out. Because whatever I say only belittles master. He was vast, he was bigger than that. I don't write articles on master, that's why. And even today, I am here wanting to talk and I am getting suggestions. You forgot this, you forgot that about master. I am unable to speak much more confidently about master because whatever I am saying, my words are stopping because that's too small a word for the greatness that I know. He was too great for my words. So forgive me for a very broken speech here. For yesterday's speech was much more continuous. Yesterday's speech was much more elaborate. I can understand that. It was more fluent because I was talking about Baba. And the words, Master already has written about Baba. So I was just parroting them. So it had a flow. But to explain about my own master, words are failing me. So forgive me for that. And all I can say is, please do study. Just as a reference. Like what some other good devotee of Baba has done, what he has taught, even just for that. Go through the life history of Sri Kilala Bharadwaja together. And I can promise you that your devotion for Baba and your activity in life and your attitude towards everything in life is going to be galvanized, is going to simply take off to another level of spirituality. I can guarantee you that. If you don't find that, I will come to your house and make sure it happens. If you read Master's life history and it doesn't make an impact in your life, I will make it my responsibility to make it so. With that, thank you for listening to me. May Baba's blessings be with all of us. Jai Sai Master. Sri Satchidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Satchidananda Sadguru Alivelu Mangam Sahita Bharadwaja Maharaj Ki Jai. I've got a couple of questions here. Death before birth. Okay. Oh. After death, whether rebirth exists or not is a question. There is a simple fact here that I am not yet dead. Unless you believe that I am like Jesus Christ or somebody who has died and got up, which I can assure you I did not. Since the day I was born, I have not yet died. So, whatever I am telling is bookish knowledge. Okay? The question is about death, whether there is birth after death or not, and things like that, to explain about death. When I say a word, suppose I say dog, or let me say tiger. You all heard it. At this moment, all of you people, each one of you, including me, you are the person who heard the word tiger. Before I uttered that word, you are a person who did not hear the word tiger. Am I clear? Every instant of our lives, with every moment, with every view, with every thought, we are somebody new, completely new. We are not the same person from 1 second ago. We are not. Our body has changed, our thought has changed, our idea has changed. We just put the memories together and we think we are all of that put together. Just think of that. Are you a good person? Why? Because you have done good? That is in the past, that's not now. Are you a bad person? That's also not now. what you think Dwarakanath is your opinion of Dwarakanath. What Dwarakanath thinks of you is what the opinion of Dwarakanath has on you. Bear with me, this is about death and rebirth, right? Let me explain the premise. Every second, when I say you are a good person, that's my opinion of you. Are you a good person? No, you are a body, your thoughts, your ideas, your expectations, you are sleeping, you are awake, you are so many more things than my opinion of you. You are so many more things than your opinion of yourself. And it is the problem of opinion that is called Maya. Right? I have an opinion of myself. You have an opinion of, we have an opinion of the world. But when we keenly observe, when we really take time to observe every word that we speak, we are a completely new person. We are a person that has spoken that word. We have a new fresh awareness, a new fresh memory. In that sense, each of us dies and is born every second. That is called the cycle of birth and death in Kena and Katha Upanishads. There has never been a mention of a world that is separate from this world anywhere in the scriptures given by any rishi. Does not. And it does not concern us as of now. At least I have not seen it. I am not dead yet. But I have changed. And I am changing every second. I look at that fan or that mirror, or you look at me. You just heard this word. A person who has heard this word is born. That's a new memory, new idea. And when I suddenly say lightning, your mind has a new thought. The person without that thought is no longer here. I say snake, snake, snake. Suddenly, all of you are people who are just afraid of a snake. You are not an officer, you are not a housewife, you are not a mother, you are a person. In that instant, you are just a person afraid of the snake. When you eat an ice cream or a sweet and you are tasting that sweet, you are nothing else other than a person eating that sweet. If you are something else, you can't enjoy the sweet. Do you understand this? We are one thing at every instant, and that does not last. It's over. Yesterday you had an ice cream, doesn't give you any sweetness now. That person is dead until he eats. Even if he eats ice cream again, that's a new person. That's a new experience. Am I making sense to you? Am I kind of making sense? Every second we are changing. When you change, you are no longer that past thing. It's a new thing already. Rice, when you cook, like paddy, you cook, it becomes rice. Is it paddy now? Can you plant it? No, it has taken a completely different form. Similarly, with every thought, every breath, every action, we are completely a different person. It is only our weakness that we think we are all of that. We kind of string together like a garland all our experiences and call it ourselves. This is the essence of human life, which is that we think we are all of this. We think we are history or we are future. But at every instant we are dying and we are taking birth again. Now the question is, who is it that is changing? Who is it that is taking birth every minute? When you think about that, there has to be a changing and a non-changing thing, right? To observe change, you need a stable observer. So, this change in you is happening, this memory in you is happening, and there is somebody seeing it. When you are part of the living change, what is the word for life in Sanskrit? Jiva. That is called Jivatma. It's not complicated. Jivatma is nothing complicated. It is this constantly dying and something that is being reborn every second. That is called Jivatma. Right? That one thing that is seeing this is called Atma. It is watching this living. Master has explained this most beautifully in his book called Vijnana Vichikalu, with a Vedic example of two birds sitting there. One is eating and the other one is watching. It's a Dvau Supernau, it's a Sukta in Veda. That says there are two things. There are two birds in you. One bird is enjoying the senses, the world. That is the one that is reborn, taking rebirth every second. That is the Jivatma. And the other bird is inside observing it. And that is the Atman in you. This is the theory given in most of Indian scriptures except a few Puranas, whereby afterlife was proposed, where after you are dead you are going to go somewhere. There is this river of Vaitarini and you will be dunked in it, lifted in it and fried and did this, did that, and then you are thrown. That's a Puranic story. That's a Puranic teaching. And Puranas are not supposed to be discussed by a poor soul like me. They have to be learned at the feet of Suta Maharshi. Suta means somebody who is in constant awareness of truth. That Ramana Bhagavan, that is the person where we hold on and say, Master, please tell us a few of the Puranas. I am ineligible to comment on Puranas. But one thing I can comment on is the teachings of masters like that. They have spoken in my language and they said this, that you are taking birth and dying every minute into a new opinion of you. You are taking birth into a new opinion of the world. Not a truth, not a reality, but an opinion of the world. And that is called Janma. That word is very peculiar in Sanskrit. Ja means taking birth. Ja. Right? Jati, Jananam. The rest of the word does not make any sense. Ma. Unless you realize that they are talking about an instant. Nimisha, Ma, Janma. It is an instantaneous thing, being born. If you are understanding this, so I would rather just say that this is purely my opinion and I am no jnani. I am a really poor soul who is trying to learn what Baba has taught. And so far, the one thing I am not afraid of is any heaven or hell after I die. I am too much worried about what I am going to do to all of you when I am living if I don't follow Baba. Do you understand what I am saying? The opinion mongering that happens every second is the death of Jivatma. Hopefully, may Baba lead us out of this opinions and into truth. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Oh, I know I have not answered these questions and please forgive me, I am not that wise yet. Yes? The speciality of Arati and Dhuni. Shirdi Sai Baba himself made a devotee write Aratis. I think you all know this, right? Sri Krishna Jageshwar Bhishma. He said, Baba said, you have to give me 5 laddus. And he was only able to write a few. And Baba said, come. And he touched the head of Bhishma and immediately the rest of the Aratis came about. The speciality of Shirdi Aratis, especially as they were written by the original authors, is that they are tremendously pregnant with meaning. And when you read them, they are not written by normal people. If you look at what Sri Upashani Baba wrote, you can see that each of the verse is the meaning of an Upanishad. Sada Nimba Vrikshasya Muladivasad explains one Upanishadic reality. Sada Kalpa Vrikshasya Tasyadi Mule is another Upanishadic reality. Bhavam Bodhi Magnadhitanam Jananam Sapadashritanam. That's another Upanishadic teaching. If we are to understand the teachings of Upanishads. It is extremely difficult. For those who have tried, they would understand. You get lost a little bit in the jargon of it. There is a special language just like for physics. But with Baba's life in the background and with Upasini Baba's writings, if you compare them both, like Bhavam Bodhi Maghanabditanam Jananam Swapadasritanam Swabhakti Priyanam Samudharanartham Kalau Sambhavam Tam Namamiswaram Sadgurum Sainadam, which means for those who are drowning in this world, in this ocean of Bhava. Bhava means be. Right? Oh, one more common mistranslation. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava is usually translated Mother is God, Father is God. No. Do you know that? Bhava means be. Sukhi Bhava. Be happy. When you say Matru Devo Bhava, what we say is, oh Baba, please be my mother. In my awareness, when I think of my mother, please, you be my mother and bless me when I think of my mother. Right? That is what it is. Similarly, Bhavam Bodhi Maghanabditanam Jananam, that is all of us who are like, I am an animator, I am this, I am that, he is this, he is that. That is called Bhavam Bodhi. And we are all dunking in and out of it. Now everybody says, the only way to come out of it is devotion, jnana, vairagya. The words we know, but we don't have anything solid to grasp. The next sentence, Bhavam Bodhita Maghanabditanam Jananam Swapadasritanam Swabhakti Priyanam. Those who approach your feet, hold on to your holy feet, and who are devoted to you. Shirdi Sai Baba, Swabhakti Priyanam, Samudharanartham, to uplift them. Kalau Sambhavantam, you have appeared in this Kali Yuga. To uplift them, Namami Ishwaram Sadgurum Sainadam. Now that seems, oh, everybody, you want to get out of this, be Baba devotees. But you have to, if you just read the next one, next few slokas, says, Sada kalpa vrukshasya tasyadi mule bhavat bhava buddhya saparyadi sevam. That is an amazing statement by any devotee in the history of mankind. He says, you are at the base, kalpa means creative, kalpana. Right? Creative. All of us have this creation, this idea about ourselves and about the world. Baba is at the base of it. Sada kalpa rukshasya tasya adi mule. Adi means beginning. And mula means root. He is the basis and he is the beginning of each of our thoughts. Each of our thoughts. You are angry with somebody, it has to start in the life force within you, right? And in that form of life force, Baba is there. Sada kalparukshasya tasyadi mule bhavat bhava buddhya saparyadi semam. Somebody feels like eating a samosa. You know, you are at the basis of that, he says. Of that wish of eating a samosa. And you satisfy him in the form of his own tongue and digestion. Even that little happiness that anybody gets, Baba, it is you who is giving it. Like that, the meaning expressed in it, when you look back at Kenopanishad and Kathopanishad, the answers given by Yamaraja to Nachiketa are here in these artis. The highest ideals of human thought were somehow given as prayers by Baba in his own artis. This is the first point that I noticed as something peculiar. I am very fond of stotras. I love stotras. But in Baba Arati, for me, I found the maximum completion of the types of prayers there are. Similarly, the next thing is that in this modern time, each of us has our own idea of the world. Unless our worldviews don't merge, we cannot have a kind of a unity understanding about life. As Baba devotees, if we are praying the same way, with the same kind of an intensity and intention to the same universal spirit that is Baba, 4 times a day, the kind of inner understanding and connection we have as devotees is going to be very, very strong. My master used the word Ajhatmika Saubhratrutva. That is, it's almost as if we are all born to the same mother. When we all do the same arati, with the same intensity, with Baba's Charitra in mind, it gives us a common understanding of the world. And that is very important to have a devotional life. Because if I am thinking of the world in one way, and you think of the world in another way, even in a single temple, we are going to have division of opinion. Somebody will say, let's put red garland. Somebody else will say, we put blue garland. Somebody else will say, we put white garland. And across the world, humankind holds the record of setting up God in order to fight. Right? Committee breaks, 2 temples occur. That breaks, 4 temples occur. It's like amoeba dividing all around the world. If we don't want that, what we want is a common kind of a prayer which is very large, very encompassing and gives a brilliant worldview. In that sense, Shirdi Sai Baba Aartis are very, very special. Because most other prayers, Gayatri Mantra is a very small, concise way which has been elaborated in the form of an Aarti. The next thing is, if you look at the world cultures, the cultures of the world, most important teachings are not in the form of sentences, they are in the form of poems, in the form of slokas. Bhagavad Gita is in the form of slokas, Vedas are in the form of slokas, and even in Western and other cultures, the sacred writings are all in verse. Even the prayers in the Holy Bible are in verse. Everywhere it is that. Prayer as a sentence does not include rhythm, does not include time. If I say, Baba save me, that does not have a specific timing to the thought. When you sing it according to rhythm, when you sing a prayer according to the rhythm, what happens is that you automatically align your breath, your thought and timing in a particular way. It's called tala, right? Tala, laya, tala. Prayer, when put in the form of laya and tala, is supposed to be the most potent, because we humans inherently appreciate rhythm. It touches our very core. So, praying to Baba in Aaratis is even more potent than just saying those words in the form of sentences. These are the 3 things that I find really special about Shirdi Sai Baba Aartis and the importance of singing them. As Baba devotees. The next one is Dhuni. Baba said, Baba gave 3 answers for Dhuni. He said, one is that it is his Guru, Baba's own Guru. The second thing he said is Dhuni is there to burn the sins of the difficulties of his devotees. That's the second thing the Baba said. The third thing Baba said, Dhuni I established so that it will answer your prayers. These are the 3 things Baba said. And Baba always used to look at the Dhuni. Baba used to sit like this. If you go to Dwaraka Mai, that wooden thing is there, he would keep his hand there and he would constantly gaze at the Dhuni master writes. And when somebody comes, he would take a glance at them and go back to the Dhuni unless he had to say something. And when the devotees do namaskaram and other things, he would take vibhuti, which he would take from the Dhuni and put in a bowl. He would give it and again go back gazing at the Dhuni. The essence of a Dhuni is explained in our scriptures as the Agony. It was explained in the Zoroastrianism as the sacred fire. It is very, very common in the Nada Sampradaya and the Naga Sampradaya as the expression of the world. If you look at the world, everything in this world is a change. Soil changes into plants, sunlight changes into plants, we eat food, it changes into the body, it changes into blood and muscles. Everything in this world is a change from one form to the other. And the change happens again into another. That is what the world is. It's a constant, regular change from one thing to the other. The principle of change is Agni. It converts a stick into a glowing rod, and then it converts that into a flame, and then it converts that into a gas, and then it converts that into something we can't even physically imagine, which is space or very distributed gas. in Agni is a symbolic representation of the entire process of the universe. Everything that you see, that's why they said, you are hungry, that is Jataragni. You are this, that is that Agni. You are this is this Agni. Everything was equated with Agni. And Baba himself is that principle that is the cause of all this change. The first mantra in Rig Veda calls Agni the Purohita. Agnim Ile Purohitam. Purohita means the first guy to make you good, to do good to you. That's the word, Purohita. Pura means first, Hita means good. And Baba is definitely that. In that sense, Dhuni for devotees is at the same time a representation of Baba, a blessing from Baba, and Baba's own Guru. It has these three significant meanings, and it is also a representation of this entire universe. So, in one of the Leelas, in Leelamrutam, in Baba's Charitra, Baba says, if it is my temple, why is there no Dhuni? If you don't have Dhuni, it's not my temple, he said. I hope we get a Dhuni here soon. It is there, I didn't see it. Oh, it is there. Right. I was searching for it on the other side, and here it is there. Excellent. So, this is beautiful. There is a beautiful Leela associated with Master regarding Dhuni. Master was the first guy to get Shirdi Dhuni to the outside world. Maybe you will read it in his life history and you are going to enjoy it. Hope I answered your question, sir, to the best of my ability. It seems I am crossing the time for Arati. I am most probably leaving for Hyderabad today. I hope to visit all of you and this temple again. But whether we are close or whether we are far, we are always close to Baba, and in that sense we are all close to each other. I sincerely hope that we all become eligible to utilize Baba's grace on our lives. I hope you read about Master and become better devotees of Sri Sai Natha. And may Sai Natha rule your lives and minds. Jai Sai Master.